Section 29 of the Arabian Nights Entertainments, Volume 1. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A recording by Zappo. The Arabian Nights Entertainments, Volume 1, by Anonymous. Translated by Dr. Jonathan Scott. Section 29. The Story of Noor ad-Din Ali and Budir ad-Din Husun. Commander of the Faithful, there was formerly a Sultan of Egypt, a strict observer of justice, gracious, merciful, and liberal, and his valour made him terrible to his neighbours. He loved the poor, and protected the learned, whom he advanced to the highest dignities. This Sultan had a vizier, who was prudent, wise, sagacious, and well versed in all sciences. This minister had 2 sons, who in everything followed his footsteps. The eldest was called Shumse ad-Din Mahmud, and the younger Noor ad-Din Ali. The latter was endowed with all the good qualities that man could possess. The vizier, their father, being dead, the Sultan caused them both to put on the robes of a vizier. "I am as sorry," said he, "as you are for the loss of your father, and because I know you live together and love one another cordially, I will bestow his dignity upon you conjointly. Go and imitate your father's conduct." The 2 new viziers humbly thanked the Sultan, and retired to make due preparation for their father's interment. They did not go abroad for a month, after which they repaired to court, and attended their duties. When the Sultan hunted, one of the brothers accompanied him, and this honour they had by turns. One evening, as they were conversing together after a cheerful meal, the next day being the elder brother's turn to hunt with the Sultan, he said to his younger brother, "Since neither of us is yet married, and we live so affectionately together, let us both wed the same day, sisters out of some family that may suit our quality. What do you think of this plan?" "Brother," answered the other vizier, "there cannot be a better thought. For my part, I will agree to anything you approve." "But this is not all," said the elder. "My fancy carries me farther. Suppose both our wives should conceive the first night of our marriage, and should happen to be brought to bed on one day, yours of a son and mine of a daughter, we will give them to each other in marriage." "Nay," said Noor ad-Din aloud, "I must acknowledge that this prospect is admirable. Such a marriage will perfect our union, and I willingly consent to it. But then, brother," said he farther, "if this marriage should happen, would you expect that my son should settle a jointure on your daughter?" "There is no difficulty in that," replied the other, "for I am persuaded that, besides the usual articles of the marriage contract, you will not fail to promise in his name at least 3,000 sequins, 3 landed estates, and 3 slaves." "No," said the younger, "I will not consent to that. Are we not brethren and equal in title and dignity? Do not you and I know what is just? The male being nobler than the female, it is your part to give a large dowry with your daughter. By what I perceive, you are a man that would have your business done at another's charge." Although Noor ad-Din spoke these words in jest, His brother, being of a hasty temper, was offended, and falling into a passion, said, "A mischief upon your son, since you prefer him before my daughter. I wonder you had so much confidence as to believe him worthy of her. You must needs have lost your judgment to think you are my equal, and say we are colleagues. I would have you to know that since you are so vain, I would not marry my daughter to your son, though you would give him more than you are worth." This pleasant quarrel between two brothers about the marriage of their children before they were born went so far that Shumse ad-Din concluded by threatening, "Were I not tomorrow," said he, "to attend the Sultan, I would treat you as you deserve. But at my return, I will make you sensible that it does not become a younger brother to speak so insolently to his elder as you have done to me." Upon this, he retired to his apartment in anger. Shumse ad-Din, rising early next morning, attended the Sultan, who went to hunt near the pyramids. As for Noor ad-Din, he was very uneasy all night, and supposing it would not be possible to live longer with a brother who had treated him with so much haughtiness, he provided a stout mule, furnished himself with money and jewels, and, having told his people that he was going on a private journey for 2 or 3 days, departed. When out of Cairo, he rode by way of the desert towards Arabia, but his mule happening to tire, was forced to continue his journey on foot. A courier, who was going to Bussorah, by good fortune overtaking him, took him up behind him. As soon as the courier reached that city, Noor ad-Din alighted, and returned him thanks for his kindness. As he went about to seek for a lodging, he saw a person of quality with a numerous retinue, to whom all the people showed the greatest respect, and stood still till he had passed. This personage was Grand Vizier to the Sultan of Bussorah, who was passing through the city to see that the inhabitants kept good order and discipline. This minister, casting his eyes by chance on Noor ad-Din Ali, perceiving something extraordinary in his aspect, looked very attentively upon him, and, as he saw him in a traveller's habit, stopped his train, asked him who he was, and from whence he came. "Sir," said Noor ad-Din, "I am an Egyptian, born at Cairo, and have left my country because of the unkindness of a near relation, resolved to travel through the world, and rather to die than return home." The Grand Vizier, who was a good-natured man, after hearing these words, said to him, "Son, beware. Do not pursue your design. You are not sensible of the hardships you must endure. Follow me, I may perhaps make you forget the misfortunes which have forced you to leave your own country." Noor ad-Din followed the Grand Vizier, who soon discovered his good qualities, and conceived for him so great an affection, that one day he said to him in private, "My son, I am, as you see, so far gone in years, that it is not probable I shall live much longer. Heaven has bestowed on me only one daughter, who is as beautiful as you are handsome, and now fit for marriage. Several nobles of the highest rank at this court have sought her for their sons, but I would not grant their request. I have an affection for you, and think you so worthy to be received into my family, that, preferring you before all those who have demanded her, I am ready to accept you for my son-in-law. If you like the proposal, I will acquaint the Sultan my master that I have adopted you by this marriage, and entreat him to grant you the reversion of my dignity of Grand Vizier in the kingdom of Bussorah. In the meantime, nothing being more requisite for me than ease in my old age, I will not only put you in possession of great part of my estate, but leave the administration of public affairs to your management." When the Grand Vizier had concluded this kind and generous proposal, Noor ad-Deen fell at his feet, and expressing himself in terms that demonstrated his joy and gratitude, assured him that he was at his command in every way. Upon this, the Vizier sent for his chief domestics, ordered them to adorn the great hall of his palace, and prepare a splendid feast. He afterwards sent to invite the nobility of the court and city, to honour him with their company, and when they were all met, Noor ad-Deen having made known his quality, he said to the noblemen present, for he thought it proper to speak thus on purpose, to satisfy those to whom he had refused his alliance, "I am now, my lords, to discover a circumstance which hitherto I have kept a secret. I have a brother who is Grand Vizier to the Sultan of Egypt. This brother has but one son, whom he would not marry in the court of Egypt, but sent him hither to wed my daughter, in order that both branches of our family may be united. His son, whom I knew to be my nephew as soon as I saw him, is the young man I now present to you as my son-in-law. I hope you will do me the honour to be present at his wedding, which I am resolved to celebrate this day." The noblemen, who could not be offended at his preferring his nephew to the great matches that had been proposed, allowed that he had very good reason for his choice, were willing to be witnesses to the ceremony, and wished that God might prolong his days to enjoy the satisfaction of the happy match. The lords met at the Vizier of Bussorah's palace, having testified their satisfaction at the marriage of his daughter with Noor ad-Deen Ali, sat down to a magnificent repast, after which notaries came in with the marriage contract, and the chief lords signed it. And when the company had departed, the Grand Vizier ordered his servants to have everything in readiness for Noor ad-Deen Ali to bathe. He had fine new linen, and rich vestments provided for him in the greatest profusion. Having bathed and dressed, he was perfumed with the most odoriferous essences, and went to compliment the Vizier, his father-in-law, who was exceedingly pleased with his noble demeanour. Having made him sit down, "My son," said he, "you have declared to me who you are, and the office you held at the court of Egypt. You have also told me of a difference betwixt you and your